For a long time, I thought the burden was knowing. Not because I knew more than anyone else, but because I paid attention. I noticed things, patterns, changes, contradictions. The subtle feeling that something in the world was shifting beneath our feet. And there was a weight to that. Because once you see something, you cannot completely unsee it. You carry it. You wrestle with it. You wonder why others don't seem concerned, or why they don't seem to notice what feels so obvious to you. But somewhere along the way, I discovered something I wasn't expecting. Knowing wasn't the end of the journey. It was the beginning of another kind of discomfort. Because eventually, if you keep paying attention long enough, you run into a wall. Not a wall made of answers, a wall made of mystery. You realize there are things you cannot know, not because you haven't studied enough, not because you haven't prayed enough, not because you haven't looked hard enough, simply because some things remain unfinished. And that is hard, because the mind craves certainty. It wants conclusions. It wants predictions. It wants guarantees. It wants someone to tell us exactly what's happening and where all of this is leading. But life doesn't seem particularly interested in giving us those things. So we compensate. Some people become rigid. Others become cynical. Some retreat into endless optimism. Others become consumed by catastrophe. Some gather around ideologies. Some gather around conspiracies. Some hide inside science. Some hide inside spirituality. Not because they are foolish, because uncertainty is uncomfortable. And the human mind would often rather have the wrong answer than no answer at all. Maybe that's why our world feels so divided. Not because people are evil, not because one side is awake and the other asleep, but because everyone is trying to relieve the same discomfort, the discomfort of not knowing. Maybe that's why certainty itself has become so seductive. Political certainty, spiritual certainty, scientific certainty, economic certainty. Everyone is searching for solid ground. But perhaps the ground was never meant to be certainty. Perhaps it was always meant to be character, integrity, humility, compassion, the ability to remain open without becoming gullible, the ability to question without becoming cynical, the ability to hope without becoming delusional, the ability to grieve without surrendering to despair. Because maybe maturity isn't finally arriving at all the answers. Maybe maturity is discovering which questions deserve to remain open. I think about all the things we don't know. About the future. About each other. About consciousness. About God. About what comes next. About why some prayers seem unanswered. About why people we love disappear from our lives. About why suffering exists. About why beauty exists. About what all of this is ultimately for. And I wonder if wisdom has less to do with solving these mysteries than learning how to live alongside them. Not with certainty, but with grace. Maybe faith isn't certainty. Maybe hope isn't certainty. Maybe love isn't certainty. Maybe being fully human means accepting that we are finite creatures standing inside something infinitely larger than ourselves. And perhaps the greatest challenge of this time is not learning how to know everything. Perhaps it is learning how to remain tender in the presence of what we cannot know. Because after the weight of knowing comes something quieter, the discomfort of not knowing. And maybe that isn't where wisdom ends. Maybe that's where humility begins. Most of what I write lives on Substack if you want to go deeper. Meet me there at tendingtheinbetween.substack.com.